Alright, what's going on, guys? This is going to be the trade recap for May 26th. Today is a Tuesday. So, with this trade, we actually took it during the midday, and we took it during this time frame instead of this time frame right here, only because this morning for school I had a graduation rehearsal, so we weren't able to trade in the morning. But this trade actually played out in our favor amazingly. So first thing I'll do is, on this 1 hour time frame, I just want to show you what ended up happening. Since we are still trying to postpone wars with Iran, we had this big overnight gap. No, whenever some news comes out, be like, yo, no war. That's how we know, like, yo, market's going to shoot up a lot more higher. We're going to be bullish for the day. So, going into it, we saw a lot bullish price action. I mean, we have just a big imbalance gap that goes in right here. And if you guys see my previous videos, you guys know that I love trading imbalance gaps. But the reason why I can't trade this imbalance gap is this balance gap is... I'll show you the tick move actually, so it'll be easier. This imbalance gap is around like a 420 tick move about, and to me that's not that reliable because down here it's not a 1 hour low either way. So this isn't an area where price could very well target. Instead, we actually kind of made like equal lows right here and shot up in the opposite direction. But that's besides the point. This would be very unreliable for me to target because we do not have guaranteed that price wants to come down that low. Well, instead, I want to mark out what we did try to hit, which is this London low right here. Throw on my indicator tool so I can show you guys. London high already got tapped into. London low didn't get tapped into. What ended up happening was market rushed down really bullish right here, right? But we didn't have any proper retracement. Instead, when we actually retraced into this zone, we didn't come down any further. We didn't have our confluences to come down further. Instead, we filled this fair value gap and we will run up a higher. So that we could have targeted this high right here, but yet again, I was not able to trade due to my graduation rehearsals, but we caught this big move here. Now, the reason why I love this trade specifically, one, because it was a good area for price to return. It was a good area for price to reverse. Also, with this move, if you guys look at the entry point is at 11:02. Right, it's 11:20. It's at 11:20 a.m. New York time. And if we look at the U.S. map, we know that, all right, so 9:30 market open in New York would be 8:30 market open in states like Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, Arkansas, like all the states in the middle of the U.S. Those are all Central Time. But then when we move into Mountain Time, when we move into states like California and Washington, D.C. No, wait, no, not Washington, D.C. When we move into states all the way on the left side of the U.S., those states wake up really late, and that allows us to have this 11 o'clock volatility right here. So what did we see? We saw a reversal down to the downside after we broke structure on this high. So I will mark this out in black so you guys can see it. This can be our liquidity sweep. We can call this our liquidity sweep because price came above it, and we started reversing down. What do we have? We have the break of structure. I was like, all right, cool. Now that we have the break of structure, we got to look for a little bit of retracement on 1 minute, a couple 1 minute confluences to get hit, and then we're good for our trade. Immediately coming into here, we don't see any fair value gap gets filled, man. No equilibrium right here, so we keep moving out a lot further. We even have break of structure on this 1 minute low, and over here I see a nice fair value gap that we could have tapped into. This fair value gap actually did get tapped into right here. Let me move my box a little bit so we can see it. Right, this fair value gap, it did get tapped into. Just the ever so slightest amount. Right there, right? But to me, that's not that powerful as a confluence. I don't want to trade that only because, alright, well, this is a confirmation confluence. We did get the filament, but I would have preferred a deeper filament. Probably right around here. So that's one of our confirmation confluences that we're going to the downside. And now we got to look for more confirmation because I can't just trade based off that fair value gap filament. So we come in and we're starting to change trend a little bit on the 1 minute. And within the 1 minute, what do? We inverse the gap. Because we inverse this gap, now that's even more stronger confirmation. All right, now our downside is confirmed. So what do? We inverse this gap and we actually trade it back up into a fair value gap, and we got a nicer filament on there. So now I'm like looking for my last confirmation confluence. My last confirmation confluence would be this fair value gap right here. The moment this fair value gap gets tapped into, we can buy. As you can see, we have a really nice deep retrace into this fair value gap, and we're able to put in our short position. Also, if you see here, we tap into, so I threw up the Fibonacci, And in the 1 minute Fibonacci, from this high up to this low right here, we come in and we actually tap into our golden zone range, and we close below the 75% extension. So that to me is even more confirmation that, alright, we had this really nice deep retracement, we got equilibrium, we got the Fibonacci, we got the fair value gap. All in all, paper textbook trade, we can move to the downside. So then we come in and we enter, and then we're just trailing down, and from there we just had to keep patient, and eventually our take profit did get hit over here. You know, we're trailing down, it's super slow price action, these wicks are not that good looking, but we do end up hitting the take profit. So I'll break down the trade one more time so you guys can know what all we did. We waited for our reversal point off this 5 minute high right here. This 5 minute high right here. We waited for our reversal point. So one, that's our liquidity sweep. What do we have to wait for? I waited for a break of structure to the downside off a 5 minute low. Alright, now we're going to start moving to the downside. So that's a one confirmation confluence. In order for that to get respected, what did I wait for? I waited for some sort of retrace into a fair value gap. We had the small retrace into the fair value gap. What else did I wait for? The reason why I did not want this one, I'll say it again, is because it's weak. So I'll take that off there, honestly, because it's very weak, right? So what else do we have? Well, trailing to the downside, we had a inversion of a fair value gap. What came right after that inversion? A filament of the fair value gap, right? We've inversed the fair value gap to the filament. So that's already 3 confirmation confluences. And finally, we had the filament of another fair value gap on 1 minute, as well as an equilibrium, as well as the Fibonacci retracement. What is that right there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. 6 confirmation confluences to the downside. From there, it is just textbook paper, and we can head all the way down there and we can trade perfectly. The reason why I have this black line marked out right here, some of y'all might be asking, is this is a 5 minute low. This 5 minute low could have been our point for us to reverse, for us to change trend to the downside. That's weird. Okay. That 5 minute low could have been an area for us to change trend to the upside. So one safe thing that we can do is when we buy in right here, we can set this as our first take profit, close partials right there, and then eventually take profit all the way down here. And because we take profit right here, what we're going to do, just move our stop to break even, and that's a cost-free trade. And if you look at our risk to reward ratio, not that bad. 1.77, 1.08. Honestly, very good risk to reward ratio. So this video was pretty short. I hope you guys loved it. Nice, clean, simple. I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love always.